Good morning then, welcome to Waterbeach. This is the South Cambridgeshire District Council shared waste depot, the depot that we share with Cambridge City Council. I'm Tom, I'm from the District Council's communications team. This is Councillor Pippa Halings, who leads the Council's work on climate and environment, and we've got Trevor Nichol, who heads the Greater Cambridge Shared Waste Service, and we've also got a special guest today with us, Pippa, right here, haven't we? Which is what we're here to talk about. What is it that you're propping up, and what are we doing with them?
Well, on this glorious sunny day, it's great actually to have here one of the new panels that we're going to put here on the roofs of the Waterbeach Waste Depot. And these are solar PV panels which South Cambridgeshire District Council is buying to create clean, free energy for the depot. And we're working really quickly to make sure that we get these installed before the government removes the feed-in tariffs. And that means that not only will the energy bills go down, but also after 8 years, these panels that will cover these roofs will pay for themselves, and after 8 years, they'll start generating much needed revenue for the council.
And Trevor, from an industry point of view then, the recycling and waste industry, just how much effort is going into being green and as environmentally friendly as possible?
We're doing huge amounts of work to actually reduce the amount of waste that's generated. So everything we can do to get less waste and get more recycling, that's better. But we can take that one step further. We're trying to get people to actually just not generate waste in the first place. So buy slightly less, buy only what they need, and just think about it at every stage.
And Pippa, this is something that many people will have on their roofs, solar panels, but many people won't, of course, as well. But there are things that every day people can do to make a difference to help with the environment, aren't there?
Yes, we can make choices. I want to make it very clear that we're not going to solve the climate crisis by individual actions alone, and that's where the local authorities have to do a lot, and that's why South Cambs has declared a climate emergency, and we've, with unanimous cross-party support, supported a zero carbon by 2050 pledge, which means we will be looking at big things across the district, but everybody will play their part. And so at home we can choose when to use the car or when to actually walk, cycle, use public transport, the buses and the trains. We can decide when we're buying something, is that something that we can reuse? And if we can't reuse it, can we recycle it, put it in the blue bin to make sure that it gets recycled and reused again? So it's in that circular economy rather than the stuff that ends up in the landfill. And then that's just more waste and more emissions and actually, polluting our world. So these choices that we make every single day about what we buy, what we consume, how we're getting to work and play, and, these are things that we can make differences.
And Trevor, you can pick up on that, I suppose, as the head of our waste service, can't you? As much as possible, clean recyclables in the blue bin.
Yep, so at that local level, we want people to just think about plastics across the whole of the house. Lots in the bathroom that could put through. All we ask is you just rinse it out and put it in the bin. Put the lid on and put it in your blue bin. But just have a think about what you can have, what you've got there in some of those places you don't think. In the bathroom, in the kids' bedroom, in the garage, lots of plastic and other items that can go into the blue bin. But as an industry, we're looking at it as a wider area as well. So there's a new resources and waste strategy that came out just before Christmas. And actually that's as a waste industry, but it's bigger than that. It's about us as consumers, back to producers and retailers. We're all working together to actually try to close that loop, to make sure that we get material back into the system, make it slightly lighter, make it easier to use, and make it that we don't actually have to use virgin material into these. We all have to make our little difference. So there is a global emergency on climate change, and actually we need to make those changes today. One little small change today will make a difference in the future. There's big things that national governments and the world needs to make together, but we have to lead. And that's where, from the small things about solar panels, from the bit about you putting that one extra recycled or that plastic bottle into your bin, that will make a difference. We have to all work together and make small changes together to make that big global change.
And why is it so important, Trevor, that the items that you are putting in the blue bin are clean? Say, for example, that shampoo bottle or that plastic bottle. Why is it so important that there's nothing left, no liquids inside?
Okay, when those materials are sorted, they have to be we want to turn them back into other plastic items. If there is contamination, and the worst bit is things like food waste, a little bit of water at the bottom of the bottle isn't the end of the world, but if you actually leave food around the edge of a yoghurt pot and things like that, that makes it really difficult to recycle. So we're asking you to rinse it out, use your dirty washing up water to rinse it out at the end and just put it out into the bin. So the cleaner you can make it, the cleaner we can and the more we can recycle back into other goods. And that's all we're asking you. It doesn't have to be spotless, but the cleaner the better.
And there's a lot more work that the council is doing, Pippa, to try and be as green as possible, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely. So South Cambs District Council said it's green to the core, and in our business plan that's going to full council next week to be approved, we've said all the different ways that we can do that. We're going to be looking at design and construction of housing, new housing that's coming in. We're also going to be looking at existing housing, so the insulation, how do you keep them warm, keep the bills down, keep people safe during the winter periods, but also make sure we're not wasting energy around that. And also where we put this new housing, and do we make it easy and affordable for people to have low carbon public transport instead of having to get into their cars. So we're also looking, with Trevor, at waste and things like that, and energy use. So those are the things that we're going to be looking at as South Cambs District Council. At the South Cambs Hall, we're also doing something similar to here in terms of the solar PV panels. We're looking at that huge car parking area, which gives another space where we can put solar panels like these on top, creating, again, cleaner, greener, free energy that will also power electrical vehicle charging points at South Cambs Hall, and could even potentially create an energy base for new housing at the Camborne West site. We're going to be bold, we're going to be ambitious, and it's really exciting.
Pippa mentioned electric vehicles there, Trevor. Is it likely that at some point soon we could see some electric-powered bin lorries around?
That's what we're striving towards. So there's already some demo vehicles out there. We're hoping that within the next year we'll have one of those demo vehicles here and try it out. They're not quite ready yet, but that's what we're working towards, and hopefully that will mean these solar panels that we're putting on the roof today will power the vehicle. Waste vehicles are really quite inefficient at the moment, so we are trying to do what we can do to make our routes and rounds as efficient as possible, but the long-term aim is within the next few years that all or most of our large bin lorries will be powered by electricity, and if we can make that clean electricity, that's even more important. So hopefully we'll be seeing more solar panels here at Waterbeach to power those when they come.
Okay then, and let's finish then, Pippa, with your little nugget, your golden bit of advice for residents who are thinking today, right, I want to do my bit to help with climate change and be green. How can they make a change right now?
So from the moment you wake up, thinking about, am I leaving things plugged in? Am I leaving things turned on, using energy? Is there any way that I could also have solar panels, on my house? Are there ways that I can insulate my house better? How are we all going to get into town? Are we going by the bus? Are we going by bike? Or are we actually all individually going in our own cars? Am I leaving my car idling when I shouldn't be, which is creating really deadly emissions, for people who are cycling along the road or sitting in their houses? What am I buying? Do I need to buy it? If what I'm buying can be reused, can be recycled, can go back into this circular system, then I'm helping.
And Trevor, your golden bit of advice for residents
I'll
as well.
keep it short. So the bit I'd ask is just think about what you're wasting, and try to put one thing extra in your blue bin today. And if everybody does that, we will see our numbers increase. We're collecting over 100 tonnes more recycling every month. Let's see if we can double that this year. So just recycle a bit more and waste a little bit less.
Okay, and you can look, of course, on our website, which is www.scams.gov.uk. Click on the bin section. There's lots of really, really useful information. There's a really big what goes in which bin section there. So if you're not quite sure what bin your item is supposed to go in, just use the A to Z and search there. And there's lots more great recycling tips on the website too. But for now, Pippa, Trevor, thank you for your time. We better get this up on the roof then.
There we go then.
Okay.
Let's go.